I'm Alan Cardinal. My wife Sylvia Most and I own Legion Square Market in South Portland, 101 Ocean Street. We've owned this for going on our 9th year. The idea of owning this store was to take from a background of both our individuals being corporate and saying, let's do something that we can bring the family into, be more connected, and to care about the community, as well as have a really nice legacy business. So we've been constantly evolving the store, but keeping the basic premise that we're part of the community. We have a goal of giving, as well as having a business that is able to compete, if you will, right next door to two very large grocery stores. It's kind of a unique spot, and we're able to keep this thriving. Pre-pandemic, life was very different. From a personal standpoint, I was able to be 80% strategy, 20% reactive. Post-pandemic, it's the complete opposite because things are just so unique. But we had a very robust customer base that just loved the format of the store. They love what we're able to provide. But with that, we also had boats that we were provisioning, large fishing boats that would go out 10 days at a time, so they'd come through and get all their provisions for going out, and several restaurants. And so it kept us wonderfully busy. Not so much anymore. Things change all the time. My employees said, what can you do to make the environment safe for us as well? And that's where we started thinking about, well, what if we just say, let's leave outside hands outside by putting a station in play. Everybody sanitizes and puts on a disposable pair of gloves and goes through the store. And that had the employees comfortable, as well as I put up the shields at the registers to give a little bit of distance. We decided we're going to require masks. We're not going to do a recommendation. And so we had to talk about how do we do that in a friendly way, in a non-aggressive way. So if we saw somebody come in the store without a mask, all we wanted to do was go to an individual and say, hey, I see you don't have a mask, here you go, and just hand them one. And that way it diffuses any, hey, you need to have a mask kinds of discussions or any of that stuff. We just went into it that way. And it worked really well. You can be committed to something and not be aggressive about it. And that's what we wanted to be, is committed to it. So we didn't back down. We wanted to support their need, as well as protecting what we believe the science was telling us to do. So we believe it. We believe our commitment has been a big part of why we've had the great fortune that we've had for individuals not being sick. And that's why we're going to stay with it all the way to the end. It is stressful to do this day in and day out. It just is. When you hear all the other stuff in the world going on, being here knowing you're interacting with hundreds of people a day that you don't know all of, don't know where they've been, what they've done, keeps an undercurrent of stress going till you get back home and you go, all right, great. You know, it's been a lot of hard work. There's just no two ways about it. And from my employees' standpoint, they've been doing a lot and they're not sure anybody knows it. Frankly, it's just nice to have somebody recognize that, because it came out of somebody in the community making the recommendations, which is just wonderful. If there's any way to publicly thank my wife for tolerating me through this, it's taken a lot of my brain and energy and so on, and she's been remarkable. Just love her to death. I'm so glad that she's part of all this and such a supportive human being.